you, Andrew. Move over. Lady Gaga. We have the next. All right. Next up is Matt Talbot and his comedy routine, followed by Patrick O'Neill on cello.
Yeah, man.
Tough to follow that. I was actually just going to do a song I love called Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. Kind of killed that moment. No, I really appreciate being allowed to do this. They keep stretching the definition of young adult, as we saw a moment ago. But I guess in this community, kind of like Law and Order, there's two types of people. People who got thrown in jail for dealing drugs in the 60s and young adults. If you weren't a Marxist in like 1972, panhandling homeless in San Francisco, you're a young adult. I don't want to be one of those, you might just be a young adult if bits, but, and I'm also just referring to my parents at this point. But I actually am a little stressed out because I haven't prepared anything, no joke, so I'm just going to read things from Mayher Memes. Facebook group. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm just going to describe this because you probably can't see. Obviously, I'm on Facebook right now. You probably can't see this. So let's see. It's just a photo of a guy going like this, and it says the tagline: "When you smell a flower before putting it down into samadhi." Very funny, Andrew Radford. Let's see the next one here. Okay, it's pretty long. It's mostly Angela Chen talking. Let's just move on to the next one. Okay, also Angela. I'm just gonna keep scrolling. No, that's Angela also. Are there memes on this? Am I at the wrong site? No, we love you, Angela. You're somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe you left. Go there. Give it up for Angela. Doing great work with the Circle of Friends, or as I call it, the Dress Barn. Which is great because you can get Baba, you get some dresses. It's just really. One-stop shop. I don't know if I have the gams to pull it off, but no, it's great. No, so I haven't really prepared anything today, so I'm gonna have to remember the first joke that I ever wrote. This is true. It's early 90s. I'm about 10 or 11 years old. I'm at the LA Sahabas. I don't know if anyone was at the LA Sahabas in the early 90s.
I was there.
Yes, Laurent. I was a Mayher miniature. I'm not sure if you were a Mayher miniature at the time. I'm not quite a Mayher miniature anymore. But neither are many of us. So I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, 13, something like that. And I wrote a whole bit about, and don't ruin it if you were there at the time or remember it with specificity, because I don't, but this is my best memory of it. If you go into Baba's house, you know that there's those little casts of like Baba's hand and Baba's feet, and you can actually, I think you can buy them. At the time I perceived that you could buy them. I don't know if you still can buy them.
Yeah.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, let's put a plug in for Sherryar somewhere. You can't get dresses there, so not as in the Circle of Friends, but I had a whole bit about how poor that would go if we tried to sell them to the open public. If we just showed up and we're like, we got hands, we got feet. I don't think people are really like, do anything in a shin, you know? But that's why tonight, I'm proud to announce the people here today, 28 years later, 27 years later, I'm opening my own business with casts of Baba body parts. Of course, the mustache, the prime option. You know, we got hands, we got feet, we got shoulders, but if you want to go gold level, premium, platinum level, you gotta go mustache. You know. So talk to me afterwards. I've been thinking a lot about, great transition there. I've been thinking a lot about the Quaker Oats story. Do people know the Quaker Oats story?
No.
Yeah, no. Okay, I'll get to that later in the bit. But the first thing is, I think for many people under the age of 40, what is Quaker Oats? Why is this a thing? Is this a thing? So I Googled it, and as it turns out, it is a thing. It's a breakfast oatmeal cereal thing based on a Pennsylvania non-violent religious movement, as most of the delicious beverages and breakfast sandwiches are. Who amongst us could forget the Fresh Prince of Eggs, as an example? It inspires me to try to sell some Baba-themed gruel, perhaps, and other Baba-themed breakfast foods. But this is a story about a woman, and she goes to the store to buy this breakfast thing, Quaker Oats. You might know it because it actually has a photo of a Quaker from like the 1700s on the front of it, and I'm sure that that's an extremely motivating icon. For sale. People are like, I gotta get that guy with the weird wig. That's how my breakfast is gonna go. And this story actually makes any sense today because she goes to buy the Quaker Oats, and instead of going to the automatic checkout line, which literally everyone does because Walmart has like one active working checker at this point, she goes to talk to what many people would call a cashier. Now, for the people born after 1995, a cashier is someone who takes your money and then gives you a piece of paper with words written on it that you throw away immediately, and numbers and things along those lines. And she goes to talk to the cashier, and she says, "Sir, I wish to purchase these oats. These delicious Quaker Oats for my children." And because she's a mother in the story, so I forgot that key important fact. Not a lot of facets to the facts in the story. But, and he says, no, because he's bad at capitalism, okay? Probably a Bernie Sanders fan, I don't know, no politics on Saturday, no politics on Saturday. And, because what you gotta do is you gotta move the product. Why would you move the product? She's here to buy the oats, sell her the oats, and then the good oats later you sell to the next people. She says, no. He says, no, I'm not gonna. She says, why won't you sell me these oats? He says, I'm not gonna sell the oats. She says, how dare you sell me these oats? It doesn't go quite like that. I got kind of wrapped up in the moment, but he explains that he would sell her a fresher batch of oats. And the whole point of the story, for those who are not knowledgeable, is that when there's Zoroaster or Krishna, Rama, or Buddha, Jesus, or Muhammad, those are the Quaker Oats, but you get the fresher box if you buy it through Baba. But as a staunch capitalist myself, who happens to run a Quaker Oats factory, I felt that they should just sell oats to everybody. That's just who I am as a person. I'll work on that one. I'll work on that. It's okay. It has a few parts to it. I like a few parts to it. I'll work on it. I like the Fresh Prince of Eggs thing. I feel like I let most of you down. But hopefully the next stuff will be better. It can't be worse. It can't be worse. But so has anyone been playing volleyball recently? Yeah. The national sport of Baba, and actually it's not true. As we all know, hugging is the national sport of Baba. Yes, right there. I have been a big fan of hugging. Oh, that woman right there, very lovely song, big fan of hugging. I've been very depressed that the Olympics, despite my best efforts to bribe them, will not allow competitive hugging in. I know. I've been trying to give them money, which is what they accept, but because I know that if they had hugging at the Olympics, we would dominate so much. I'm not talking about America. I'm not talking about South Carolina. I'm talking about the center. We would send our own delegation. It would be like, and the Barclay delegation has scored gold again. Greco-Roman hug. The snake hug is gold, silver, and bronze. We would absolutely dominate synchronized hugging. I can assure you. But as it is, volleyball is a national sport, and it almost wasn't volleyball. A lot of people don't know this. This is true, to what I understand, to the jokes here, that when they were looking at the center, they were looking to put it in Minnesota, right? If they put it in Minnesota, we all know that hockey would have been the national sport. Baba lovers, but nobody wanted Gary Kleiner to be around large wooden sticks. Nobody wanted that. It was a concern to have a puck. You could like pick it up and just nail someone with it. And, volleyball is great because it's a team sport. We can get up to 34 people on court at one time. 17 on 17. And, it's great. Most people are doing their best, except for Brian West, who's terrible at particular sport. Just embarrassing out there, humiliating really, but I really think that if we tried our hardest and we got the best team of people out there, and we trained and we probably took some steroids. We might be able to be in good shape. We're pretty good. We're pretty good. But it's a great. Volleyball's a great sport for volleyball lovers because it's a great opportunity to destroy our ego together. Right? Just to fail in every way together. I myself fail all the time. Okay? I do the one where I try to hit it like this, up, but I just hit it into my face. I try to do one where I set it up, and I just set it into my face. Right? And then, of course, the classic, I don't know if this ever happens to you, you go up for the huge spike and just watch as it goes by. Just like, nope, that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm a big fan of volleyball. I don't know if anyone here is a big fan of Baba books. Is there anyone here who's a big fan of Baba books? Anyone read one or more Baba books here? Okay, I see some people. I'm still at zero. But that's mostly because I'm illiterate. Thank you very much, California public school system. I'm pretty much illiterate. That's why my daughter in the Maynard school. That is Sufism. But that's a joke. Or is it? But anyways. No, I can't read, but I love listening to Baba books on tape. They're narrated by Baba, so it's just silence for like 2 hours. He does like the hand gestures, you know. We recorded it, but it's only an audio recording. We're just doing a video recording. It's like God speaks on tape, you know. But I'm so excited. I don't know if you heard the news. There's a number of unpublished Baba books that are about to come to market. Has anyone heard this?
Yeah.
You have? Okay, good. Don't ruin the jokes I'm about to make then. Because these are real, actual Baba books that I'm not making up in any way for comedic effect. Now that George R.R. Martin has stopped writing books, the next Game of Thrones will actually just be a sequel to God Speaks. With the Mad Fire Queen, Colonel Orana. We're getting a better ending than the actual Game of Thrones. I know, I have to build up the momentum so has anyone read Listen Humanity? Has anyone here read Listen Humanity? Okay, there we go. Let's get a round of applause for Listen Humanity. Okay, there we go. It's a soaring tale to tell the world, the globe, about the thoughts of Meher Baba, the avatar Meher Baba. And there's a little known sequel coming to market called Listen Anaheim, which is mostly about Disneyland. Baba had a lot of thoughts about Disneyland. It's mostly about that. And then by far, my favorite unpublished Baba book coming out to market, Where's Baba? It's a Where's Waldo book, but it's very easy to find Baba because he's in everything and everyone. Right? He's there.